Hey guys, this is Tom Sorsey talking about some more bowling balls. Today we're looking at the Roto Grip Daredevil, one of my favorites of all of the new ones that we've come out with recently. Let's just get right into it here. Amped Pearl cover stock. You will remember that from the No Rules Pearl, which I loved and use all the time. The Madcap Core. RG numbers are right there. 2.47, 2.48, roughly 0.40 differential. I don't really want to kind of get deep into that today because I really want to show some shots here with this one. Here's a picture of mine. It's a pretty standard drilling, 4 inches just under the ring finger. There is a hole down the VAL. It's kind of hard to see in that picture, but you can kind of catch the edge of it. Not the best picture on my part. We are still bowling on the unknown pattern. I did a lot of these at once. So let's take a look-see. Now what you're going to notice in this video is that when I threw the Daredevil, all I'm showing you is strikes, and I never do that. And the thing is, I literally just kept striking, and I made a lot of changes that I want to talk about as you see me throw shots so that I can show you kind of what led to that. So let's take a look-see here. First shot, we're just kind of trying to get a feel for it. Obviously, it seems like the mystery pattern has become a little more defined. We can tell because of how easy it was to strike, but it wasn't necessarily, because we'll see that with the ball we compare it to. But what I try to do here is I try to throw the first couple shots, one really close to the gutter, kind of moving in a little more closed angles there. And then what I'm going to do here is begin to chase it left. And the reason that I'm going to chase it left is I want to see how quick response this ball is. I want to see if I can still get it back from way in. You see there, I kind of keep that one a little left, so we're not going to get that much of a read. But here I really try to get one to the right. We still get it to come back through that spot, get through the pins. We're going to keep going left. We started at like 13, 14, 15. This one really we sent out there. We still got to come back and get the little late 4. So now we're going to jump in. We went from 13, 14, we're into 17. We still get this one to suck up through the pins. We're going to keep going. So into here we're into 20. Still get it to come around the corner. We roll the 2 out. Not exactly what we're looking for, but still. Even further in, 22, we try to keep this one a little more closed angle-wise. Still looks great. So what that tells me is that, firstly, the ball creates enough friction to be used as we find more oil. So we try to chase it into where there was more oil. We still get it to read. We can still get it to the right to where the friction was, but it's still quicker to get through the pins from in there using those wide open angles. Now, is the mystery pattern easier? Yeah, it actually is. But we're going to see that the characteristics of this ball differ greatly from what we're going to compare it to on the same pattern. So the ball we're going to compare it to is the Roto Grip High Wire. So basically, we have a ball in the high wire with actually very similar RG numbers, which is why I really didn't want to get into the specifics because I want to talk about covers here. So we have this hybrid cover on the high wire, and though the core characteristics are similar from an RG perspective, we're going to see very different reaction on lanes, and that's partially because the vast majority of a ball's reaction comes from the cover stock. I actually have this high wire drilled with a quicker response drilling than the Daredevil, but you're going to see that in fact it's not at all closer to quick. Clearly it has a lower friction factor than the Daredevil. You'll see here it does look smoother. Even out there in the friction, which is the best spot to see it at, it looks very smooth coming around that corner. We leave a wrap 10. It doesn't get up. It leaves a 2-4. And we're in the part of the lane where it should. We try to move in and kind of close the angles up a little bit. With the closed angles, you can see we finally get the hit. It's the slower response allowing those closed angles to work. Once again, another one right here. We try to keep the angles closed. We get the trip 4 and the high flush. But I'm going to try to chase it left with this ball like I did with the Daredevil. And you'll see here that smooth around that spot. We wrap a 10. It was close. We go a little further left, and all of a sudden we get a weak 10. It's just too smooth coming off that friction. We're going to chase it further left into the oil. We even try to keep our angles more closed here. We get the 2-pin, a combination of both the fact that it's a weaker cover stock as well as the slower response. And then we try to really wing one toward the friction and see if we'll get it to come off that spot. And as you can see, the slow motion off of there, basically a bucket, a 2.5 leave. So what does that tell us? Well, clearly, this high wire is going to be slower response than the Daredevil, and it's also a little bit weaker. But what's more important to me is that we were able to use this Daredevil with a little higher speed, a little more closed angles, a little more in the friction and strike. We were able to chase it left, slow our speed down just a little bit, and still have it be able to come and get through the spot. Chase it further left, open our angles up more, get that hit. Keep the angles a little closed from in there, still get the hits. And so it tells me that it's pretty versatile and it's pretty usable. It's quick enough that we can chase it in with some open angles. However, it's not something like a high road pearl where we can only use it in certain scenarios calling for very quick response balls in our hand. It just strikes me as very versatile. And because of that, I think it's going to be very usable. So let's recap here real quick. I would classify it as medium friction. It's not too strong, it's not too weak, kind of right in the middle. Medium quick response. We can tell that it's quick enough. It's quicker than that high wire is, but it's not as quick as the quickest balls. It's not as quick as, like I said, the high road pearl, but it's still medium quick. Again, versatile. That's the big thing. Versatile ball, and the kind of ball that someone might use benchmark ball. I don't necessarily use that term very often, but it's that kind of deal. It's a ball that should always be in your bag when you're going to your tournaments. We'll talk in a different video about setting up an arsenal, but there should be a number of balls that are your core arsenal that you'll always have with you, and then there's some other balls that you might bring based on situations, and this is in my core arsenal, and it should be in everyone's. So, as usual, find me on Facebook, facebook.com/TMSourcey, at Tom Sourcey on Twitter, youtube.com/Tom Sourcey. Let me know, leave me questions, leave me comments. I love getting back to you guys and talking about it, and hopefully you guys enjoyed, and we have more coming up soon, faster than we're used to seeing them, so get ready. Thanks, guys.